Namaskar. Prathame, I would like to convey my deepest respect to Sri Gautam Ghosh, Sri G.M. Kapoor, Dr. Malay, all the dignitaries of the dais, and most importantly to BCC&I for putting this together. It's a very befitting subject, fitting the past into the future. And we stand at a very good cusp of time for doing just that. Just a few years ago, we had the same opportunity where we stumbled upon an immensely beautiful property called Lohia Matri Sadan, and we got the opportunity of doing something worthwhile there. I think that we are very fortunate that we faced this challenge at a very opportune time. 220 years is the age of the building. It used to be the residential palace of three very eminent families, Malik family, তারপরে Sheel family, তারপরে আবার Pradyumna Malik. Royal aristocrats lived in a certain fashion. 1943, this was taken over by a bunch of industrialists led by Sri G.D. Birla, Sri K.K. Lohia ji and 5 others, and it was converted into a maternity hospital, a mother and child hospital. And from 1943 till 2010s, it was operating as a charitable mother and child hospital. Therefore, after the decline of the jute business, then the monies which was supporting this hospital also started going down. Hence, this hospital started facing some issues and some troubles and stopped operating. Every building, when you visit it, will say its own story. We just have to be receptive to listen to what it says. When you enter a premises, it will tell you its own biography, but also it will tell you its aspirations, that this is what I can become, these are the possibilities, these are the prospects. If you combine that with just common sense and a basic knowledge of current affairs, of what our socio-economic position is, where our society is headed, what is needed for the time, I believe that the confluence of two can produce very good results. It's a very simple thing actually, it's not very complex. So we just have to be a little bit sensitive towards understanding it. We got the opportunity because we come from background of healthcare. We are deeply passionate and absolutely welded with the idea of healthcare. And as our hospital start expanding, we have committed our all resources towards the expansion of only one domain, that is healthcare. And this confluence of heritage and healthcare, actually it was magical. Because when we first saw the building, it was structurally very suitable, but it had its own set of challenges. And a grade 1 heritage property, somebody is taking over and wants to convert to a modern super specialty hospital, has its own set of funny experiences. But the confluence of heritage and healthcare actually is very, very lucrative, not only for the society, but for the patients most importantly. Because heritage properties, they imbibe a sort of a character. They already have a sort of a strong presence. And most of them, they give a sort of a healing environment. Lohia Hospital, for example, has 2 courtyards. There's an overarching mango tree in the back courtyard. The whole environment is so serene and pristine. If you enter, you will forget that you are in North Calcutta. You will perhaps feel that you are in some kind of a wellness retreat. And this was resonated after we finished the project, after people started coming and having a look. And this love and appreciation and affection that we got from the city was very, very, very overwhelming. The kind of recognition, the kind of instant appreciation and acceptance that we got was so heartwarming that we thought that all our efforts, whichever we have put in the last few years, has come to fruition. As we speak today, we have already got most of our licenses, etc. in place, and patients have started coming. Some very, very critically ill patients have also come, and we have had the opportunity to send them back home very healthy. Healthcare has its own rewards. When we work in this space, we have our own rewards. Sending critically bad patients home is a different feeling altogether. I won't be able to express it. But doing this at a heritage premises, wherein a cultural environment also supports us in healing, that's again an even more cherry on the top of the cake. By definition, these buildings are very green in nature. Our ceiling height is about 21 feet, our wall thickness is about 30 inches, and that's a building which breathes. The temperature modulation from outside to inside is almost 2 or 3 degrees lesser. So automatically it provides a very good environment of bacteria management, of antifungal environment, of overall being a calmness and a certain sense of peace and quiet in that premises. Post that, we also visited multiple other premises which are capable of being converted and reused into something else. If the property is large enough, 1 lakh square feet and above, it can become a healthcare institution. If it is in the tens of thousands, it can become an educational institution. If it is 10,000, it can become a clinic. If it's 5,000 or lesser, it can become a cafe, a restaurant, something else. Depending on the location, depending on the size, the footprint and the surrounding areas, there are so many uses that different properties can be put into. But one thing which we cannot replicate is the history of that place. It comes with its own character, its own personality, and to harness that and to repurpose, rechannelize that into a futuristic application, it is a very, very, very rewarding activity. I would encourage all entrepreneurs, business owners, architects, conservation architects and others as well to step on the gas a little bit more, especially now because we are entering into a new era of commerce. From now till 15 years, whatever is going to happen in Bengal is going to be very futuristic. But we must not let go of our past. We must try and build upon our past as well. And if we can marry the past with the future, this would have a very interesting and a very lucrative future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, and it was really a very inspiring and many informative speech which we got to hear from Prashant, sir. With this, I would now like to request our chief guest, the Sheriff of Kolkata, Sri Gautam Ghosh, to please lead his address. A round of applause for sir, please.
Esteemed guests, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not an expert on heritage, but I have sentiment for so many things. And heritage is really a very wide subject. Heritage, of course, connected with architecture of a city, its community, its environment, and how we damaged so many things. Damage was done, but if all of us can work together, there is a possibility of restoring some of our great heritage. Look, Chitpur Road was called as a city of palace. Chitpur completely gone. Many other places. Some families, they have taken a very interesting way of converting those old buildings either into hotel or some sort of things. That is also very encouraging, and we can learn from Rajasthan. Rajasthan, you see, you find all 7-star hotels, but they are located in some old palace or fort. So it's a very, very important issue that architecture of a particular city. You see, in our country, there were many big cities, old cities. They have their identity, used to have their identity. Kolkata was totally different from Mumbai. Delhi is totally different from Baroda. It was there 30 years back, still existed. But now you won't find this character of a particular city because of it all looks homogeneous, same. In the process, we lost so many things. The most important thing for a big city is the sewerage. What happened to Kolkata's sewerage? British government, they had planned very carefully about those canals and how the canals go to Vidyadhari river and many other rivers. That was the eastern part of Calcutta was the big sewerage channels for the city. But now, all closed. Those canals are shallow, dirty, there's no flow because of buildings have come up everywhere. So it's a big challenge, and I think, political will is also very, very important, that they should create a ministry to preserve our heritage. That is very important. Intact is there, so many people are there, but they should have a separate ministry. You cannot mix up things from PWD or from other department. You need to have two things. One ministry for the heritage, another ministry is for reform. Because those ministries will become a kind of think tank for the government to act. This is very, very important. Whenever I travel to the eastern part of the city, I feel like crying, my God. Even in my childhood, we have seen, of course, there was a marshy land. Salt Lake was also